All right. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. I'm Michelle Soriano, Head of Marketing for North America here at Fluent Commerce, and I'll be moderating today's conversation. So before we begin, just a few housekeeping notes. This webinar is being recorded, and we'll share the replay link with you afterwards. If you'd like to ask any questions during the webinar, please do, and you could do so in the questions tab, which is located on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and we'll plan to address those at the end. So I would like to welcome Parya and Karthik today. And Parya, would you like to kick it off and tell us a bit about yourself and your background, please?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Michelle. And I really look forward to the conversation today, Karthik, with you and Michelle. I have over a decade of experience in building and scaling products, and analytics has been very, very close to my heart. But I think the most amount of fun that I've had is in building retail products, right? I've been doing that for 7 years now at GreyOrange. Started off with building warehouse automation system, focused around inventory management, fulfillment, and operations, robotics, and all that, and then moved on to build a retail store execution platform. I currently head up the product and go-to-market for G-Store, which is the retail division of GreyOrange. And it fully focuses on, store inventory management and operations. And I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you so much. And then Karthik, if you could share some info on yourself as well.
Sure. Thanks, Michelle, for having me today. And Parya, it's great to be collaborating with you both on a very relevant topic, right? From a background perspective, I've been in the retail software industry for more than 20 years now and had the privilege of working across all aspects of product delivery for market-leading SaaS products with global organizations, right? And I've enjoyed building the product strategy and product vision, working with key internal and external stakeholders to build omni-channel retail products and solutions that continues to deliver the unified customer experiences that spans from pre-purchase to post-purchase. And currently, I lead the overall product strategy for Fluent Commerce, building some cool innovations that continue to help retailers elevate their customer experiences.
Thank you both. So I'm really excited about today's discussion around inventory accuracy and data-informed fulfillment and how this rolls into providing an exceptional customer experience. So while CX and improving that experience is typically top of mind for retailers and brands, many times inventory and fulfillment are not considered enough. So everyone, today our speakers will dive into this and more. And Karthik, let's start with you. Why are we here and why is this so important now?
Sure, I will always start with customer experiences, right, Michelle? So they have to be consistent across the customer journey, and that starts from the pre-purchase to the post-purchase, and that's in order to build trust and loyalty. Then inventory accuracy and optimized fulfillment. These are two critical factors that influence in delivering great customer experiences. And retailers depend on an order management system more than ever before, right, to be the linchpin, in order to deliver those channel-agnostic customer experiences. And OMS happens to be the system of truth for two things. The first one is inventory availability. The next one is orders. When we talk about inventory availability, we are talking about what is available to promise at any given point across all your demand channels. And that typically comes from the OMS. And you want to do that in a timely manner. You want to expose that, what is available to promise in a timely manner. And then OMS is also responsible for orders. And that means ability to fulfill the customer order in an optimized fashion by identifying the best location to fulfill it from. It could be one or more locations. And ability to offer tools to create and modify the order when needed by the associates. And ultimately, orchestrating the order lifecycle. But then, the OMS constantly depends on an inventory management system like G-Store that is offered by GreyOrange. And these systems ensure inventory accuracy based on the in-store tools, and they also optimize the fulfillment processes within the DC and store. Order management system, along with the new age inventory system like G-Store, can help retailers constantly raise the bar, right, in omni-channel fulfillment and boost the overall customer experiences. And we'll be delving into some of these topics in this webinar. And excited to see this partnership between Fluent Commerce and GreyOrange flourish as we continue to collaborate to build some cool innovations that can help retailers build those superior customer experiences.
And Parya, from your end?
Yeah, Karthik, I absolutely agree. And I think eventually it's all about driving the right customer experience, right? It could be the experience for walk-in customers who are coming to shop within the retail stores, or it is the experience for e-commerce customers who are again walking into a retail store for an order pickup, or are having them delivered at their footsteps, right? If you look at the core pillars of it, it's all about having the right inventory management, knowing your inventory accuracy levels, knowing your inventory, being able to find the products more easily, right? And having the right operational excellence, right? Both of those are the base pillars. And on top of that kind of sits your, the OMS layer, which is kind of feeding off of that system, right? So the inventory management system has to ensure that it is giving the right inventory information in real time to the OMS system so that it can leverage that information for promising the right inventory to the right order, right, at the right time. Eventually it's all about all of that, right? The inventory management system is dependent on the OMS system to provide the right order at the right time, prioritize it correctly, and stuff like that, right? So both these systems are extremely dependent on each other. I would even go to an extent and say, inventory and orders are, right, in a way, two sides of the same coin, right, which are feeding off of each other and are very much dependent on each other. And having, the accurate levels of inventory and order information and being able to fulfill at the right time becomes extremely critical. And I'm excited to talk more about this as we go further.
Thank you. And Parya, I'm going to stick with you. So if we could share a bit to the audience, why inventory accuracy and optimized fulfillment, like why are they so important?
Absolutely. See, there are, with COVID kicking in, and even before, a lot of retailers started doing a lot of fulfillment from their stores, right? And they started treating as these retail stores as nothing but mini fulfillment centers, right? They started literally, leveraging the store inventory for omnichannel fulfillment. There are extreme examples like, Target fulfilling 95.6% inventory from their retail stores, right? And Zoomies is another example, which has completely shut down their DCs and is fulfilling 100% of their orders from the stores right now. But of course these are extreme examples, and the other side of the spectrum could be retailers who are a lot more balanced, right? And they're fulfilling maybe 50, 60, 70% of their orders from the DCs and the rest of them from the stores, and that the balance is different for different retailers based on the time of fulfillment that they're proposing to the customer and experience that they're wanting to commit to and stuff like that, right? But at the end of the day, you have to ensure your inventory in the stores and in your warehouses, and them accurately, and the location of the product. So you're not, and especially in a store environment where things are more dynamic, there are customers walking in, they're moving around with inventory, and the operations in the store are all multiple touch points and stuff like that. You have to ensure you have the right inventory information which is getting pushed to your omnichannel to your omnichannel system, the order management system, so that you have the right inventory level to promise, right? And at the same time, it's responsibility of the OMS system to ensure that you're not starving a particular node. When I say a node, it could be a retail store or it could be a DC, right? You're not starving a particular node of the inventory. You have walk-in customers, and you need to have the right balance of inventory there so that your e-commerce and your walk-in customers can both leverage the same, right? Karthik, what do you think?
No, I absolutely agree with you there. Talking to our customers and some of the retailers, they typically gain confidence. They first need to want to gain confidence in the store inventory accuracy. Then they can unlock store fulfillment. And then once they unlock store fulfillment, it usually unlock B2C transportation savings, which directly helps their profitability, right? So unless and until you have many fulfillment centers across the country, typically you will have a store closer to your customer delivery point, and that directly leads to savings. And then if you think about inventory accuracy, that results in order delays, inaccuracy results in order delays or even order cancellations, which has a direct impact on customer satisfaction and loyalty. And then as omnichannel retailing continues to evolve, the ability to have a real-time inventory picture of your inventory, specifically the store inventory, That's what we are talking about here. And reflecting that to the demand channel becomes table stakes, right? And based on a survey that Fluent ran, I think last year, we found that only 58% of retailers have inventory accuracy of less than 80%, which leads to an increased risk of overselling and underselling. So exposing the right inventory picture to the demand channels in a timely manner becomes important to reduce cancellation and gain credibility. Now, the problem is that inventory availability data can't move fast enough from backend systems to the commerce platforms. Often there are data silos and a lag between what's happening in the physical world, like in-store sales, and what customers see in digital channels. And this leads to inaccurate inventory availability data. Also, retailers don't typically segment their inventory appropriately between different channels. And even if they segment, they don't understand the demand spikes within each channel to move inventory dynamically to capture that demand. And then talking about optimized fulfillment, that is equally critical, as it can help reduce cost of fulfillment by selecting the right source based on various factors, right, without compromising on the customer promises. Optimized fulfillment can also help in reducing split shipments and thus the number of packages being delivered. It can help in reducing packaging and shipping costs and help reduce the overall carbon footprint and then increase profitability. And having an optimized fulfillment process within the store helps in the overall efficiency in reducing the cost and fulfilling an order. Does that make sense?
Sure does. So inventory accuracy clearly plays a vital role in omni-channel fulfillment. Specifically, the store inventory is very dynamic in nature and plays a more important role. So Parya, can you explain what contributes to inaccuracy in stores?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the good thing about DCs is that they don't have live customers in there, right? So, when something is not right in a DC, you know that it is the responsibility of your of your warehouse colleagues, right? Operators that are working within the warehouse environment mostly, right? Whereas in a store environment, there is a lot more dynamicity, right? You have, theft is happening. There is, organized retail crime. There are tons of articles and news that you'll see around it, right? There are of course misplaced items. Customers would pick up an item and then they would change their mind. Maybe they'll take it to a fitting room, try it out, and then leave it there, or maybe they'll leave it near the cash desk. So right, so the items get misplaced and they don't really come back to the right place in time, right? So that causes some level of inaccuracy. There is of course a lot of times, an item is reserved for omni-channel fulfillment. It might be the last few items in the store, and then let's say the customer footfall in the store increased and those items got sold. Now your omni-channel reserved product has got sold. So there are those realities that happen which get accounted for as inventory inaccuracy issue, which might not be the real case, right? And then of course there are a lot of manual errors. There are there are those last damaged units within the store, right? So all those are the realities of the store. So they lead to some level of inaccuracy. Now, one might argue that these are some of the reasons. There is also being able to forecast the demand spike that can come in, right? That becomes very critical, as Karthik was, mentioning in some of his works, which is, how do you ensure that you're proactively able to forecast a demand spike and react to it, right? And that is only possible when you are getting the right data feed, you're getting the right information, you're not waiting for days and weeks, to translate your POS data transactions into actionable insights for your merchandisers. You basically need to act now and kind of push the right information, to the order management. Apologies. To the order management systems and of the likes, right? So that becomes sorry about that. That becomes extremely critical. And Karthik, what do you think?
No, I think absolutely. I agree with you especially on the gray areas of inventory you were talking about, and how understanding the quality of the inventory in your store is so important, right? So we have many clients looking for tools that enable their employees to qualify products as good or bad. Not just, it's here or it's missing. They wanted to know how good or bad the quality is. Further, when they do get bad inventory from, let's say, another store due to a pickup or a transfer, they want to have a feedback mechanism so that they can coach and train the originating store and correct the behavior for the future. Think about wrong size shoe size in a box, or dented cans or damaged items or scratched surfaces. Just don't transfer those problems from one store to another. Right? Let's correctly identify the inventory and take it out of circulation if required.
Thanks both. So Karthik, I recall in one of our recent chats you've mentioned about how inventory accuracy affects the customer experience. Would love if you could elaborate on that a bit.
Yeah, sure, Michelle. As I had mentioned earlier, right, customer experiences really span through the entire order lifecycle, which is pre-purchase to fulfillment to post-purchase. And your inventory accuracy can unlock a lot of new business opportunities, not only on your website and in your stores, but even in the earlier consumer stages of awareness like marketing and media opportunities. But that's only as long as the inventory is accurate. Further, there are more and more marketplaces, dropship, and now social media commerce opportunities as well. So let's talk about a few examples in the pre-purchase, right? So there is the inventory aware search and ads. And the customers do product discovery and search, and they typically start in search engines like Google or Google Ads, and also social media channels like Instagram or Facebook or even TikTok recently, right? And then pop-up kiosks. And the ability to share that inventory availability to external systems in a timely manner reduces customer frustration. Then exposing location-level inventory feeds to those search engines and social media channels increases the foot traffic to local stores, for example. And also exposing the inventory feed as well as ability to provide promising at early stages in the buying cycle extremely increases the conversion rate. And from a fulfillment perspective, store fulfillment continues to be a differentiator, and ability to expose the stock availability in a timely manner can help reduce your cancellation rate and increase customer satisfaction. We have a customer who exposes store inventory on a near real-time basis and was able to reduce the cancellation rate from 30 to 10%, right? That's a big improvement. And we have another customer whose cancellation rate is 2%. So ability to sync the store availability as and when sales happen is powerful, especially when there are only a few units left. Like think about fast-selling items, right? And then let's talk about post-purchase. So when you get your email about, from a marketing or any order confirmation emails, you do have typically the product recommendations, which are right below that email. And, retailers are now trying to make sure that those product recommendations are there for products which actually has inventory. How many times have you clicked on a product which is recommended in your email and you click on it and to land on a page which says it's not available? Right? And then product recommendations in the shipment tracking pages. You get a shipment tracking page and you click on the link to move on to a page which tracks your shipment. This is when it's going to arrive. But right on the bottom, that's also an opportunity for the retailers to provide some, have some upsell and cross-sell. An ability to show items that have inventory availability increases conversion. And then let's talk about back orders for a minute here. So when you have, customer places an order and multiple items in this case, and some of the items are available right away and you can ship them, and some of the items are not available and they are on back order. Let's have, send those clear communication emails or texts, to the customer so that they understand that these are the customers which are these are the items, which are going to come right away, or they're going to be shipped right away. And these are the items which are on back order. And these typically reduce the number of calls coming into the contact center. You really want your contact center to be more of a high touch and not handle these mundane calls coming into the contact center. Yeah.
That makes sense. So Parya, I'd love to get your take on it as well from an in-store perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. See, I think from a store standpoint, there'll be two types of customers that will be coming in, right? There'll be walk-in customers who are coming in to shop, while there'll be e-commerce customers who are coming in to maybe pick up their BOPIS order, right? For both, the challenges are different and the solutions that could be possible are different, right? From a walk-in customer standpoint, the biggest frustration for walk-in customers is their inability to find a desired product, right? You looked at something online, you looked at something in an advertisement, and then you actually landed into a store, you're not able to find it, right? And then you don't even have store associates around who can really help you. Like remember the last time you went into a retail store to shop and you actually had an associate come up to you and try to help you and be able to really get you the products on your hand, right? And especially, and if the store is big, then the problem is even many folds, right? A lot of times there is inventory lying around in the back store, but it is not available on the shelf, right? You don't have it there. Now, those are some of the realities of retail stores and something that the walk-in customers experience. Now the solution is obvious. How can you ensure that you have the right shelf availability, right? How do you ensure the right product is in the right place at the right time? So let's say, a sale happened, and one of the products that was there on the floor, you just had one of these medium-sized t-shirts on the floor, it got sold. And if you are able to fulfill it immediately from the back store to front store, you will absolutely be capturing your sale, with the next customer that comes in, right? And at the same time, how do you ensure your store associates have the right information? So imagine a store colleague having the information of the right inventory availability and the location within the store where that inventory is, right? Like imagine a Google map like for your store inventory, right? And you precisely know you have 2 units in the back store, you have 1 unit on the shop floor. Oh, it is lying around in the fitting room because the customer left it there and it's been lying there for 20 minutes now, right? Or maybe there is a task that gets created to ensure compliance within your retail store, right? So you get a task as a store colleague which says, why don't you go and pick up all these items that are lying around in the fitting room for more than 10 minutes and bring them back to the shop floor and make them available for sale again? So those are some extremely good use cases that you can achieve, right? It's all about ensuring on-shelf availability and ensuring your store colleagues have the right information on the tip of their fingertips, and they have the right technology in hand to basically help walk-in customers. And over and above, they have the right mind space to actually help walk-in customers, right? So you need to kind of get rid of the mundane tasks that they do and let them clientele and talk to customers more. Now, if you think about an e-commerce customer, their biggest frustration is, the order didn't get fulfilled correctly, right? Or there was a lot of wait time for me to get my BOPIS order, right? The pickup time was 2 p.m., but I only got the order at 2:30, or things like that, right? So now there the solutions are easier. Again, ensuring you know the right inventory level and you're able to push the right inventory information in near to real time to the upstream system, which is the order management system, right? Now, let's say you had reserved an order item for your e-commerce order, but it got sold within a few minutes. If you can immediately send that information to an OMS system so that the OMS system can do a recalculation and they can, find an alternate store or an alternate location for that order fulfillment, then you will be absolutely be able to ensure that you're doing an accurate fulfillment and you're not making the customer wait. There are, of course, a lot more other advanced technologies that you can use. For example, pick pathing for fulfillment, right? So imagine as a colleague, as a store associate, I get a task which says, you have a BOPIS order pickup due and you're supposed to pick it up within the next 1 hour, right? And it gives me an optimized pathing to exactly each of the items that I have to pick within the retail store. And I will able to consolidate that order, pick it up and make it available for the customer pickup on time. So those are some of the interesting ways with which you can not only cater to your walk-in customers, but also, e-commerce customers.
Thank you. And, store fulfillment really does continue to be a differentiator. So for example, one of Fluent's customers is actually using stores to fulfill about 98% of their orders. Parya, can you tell me how much inventory accuracy plays a role in this and what the ways are that retailers can achieve this level of accuracy?
Absolutely, Michelle. I think one of the core problems that we all hear from retailers is inventory accuracy being a pain point, right? There are retailers, G-store retailers who are actually getting an inventory accuracy of 98, 99%. And we're not talking about an inventory accuracy of 98, 99% at a snapshot view. We're talking about it consistently, minute over minute, you're getting the same, you're getting that level of inventory accuracy within your retail stores. And not only that, imagine you're getting location precision. Imagine you're getting exact XY coordinates of exactly where this product is. So it's lying around the corner, right outside the fitting room in the women's C section, and you will see a pin drop within your digital twin store map, if you may, right? So how is that achievable? It's achievable with, what you see on this slide here, a small overhead that you see, the white drop that you see on the ceiling, which is basically an overhead reader. It works with RFID technology, right? And it basically reads, XY coordinates of each of these items within your store, right? And it basically creates like a Google map for your store inventory, right? And you practically know every item's location. So if there are products that have, let's say, fallen behind a wall and they're not visible, or let's say they are hidden somewhere, or if the store is too dense, you will still be able to accurately get exactly where that product is, and you will be able to get hands on that, right? Of course, there are other ways of doing it, which are more standard across the industry, which a lot of our competitors do, which is handheld systems, right? So you have a handheld device which we call just-in-time store inventory capture, right? You go around in the store, you do the inventory capture. That's a more traditional way of doing it. That doesn't give you XY coordinate. It doesn't give you location. It might give you an inventory accuracy of 95, 96%, best case 97%, but it'll also start to deteriorate as you stop doing the scans, right? So the more frequent the scans, the better your inventory accuracy. So yeah, there are different ways of doing it. There's no one size fit all. A lot of retailers want a balance of the two. A lot of retailers, for their high volume stores, they want to put overheads, right? For maybe their marquee stores, they want to put overhead, whereas their low volume stores, they want to do, more handheld systems and stuff like that, right? So there are different ways. There can be coexistence of these two technologies and stuff like that. And we're working with lots of retailers around that. And but basically getting the inventory accuracy of 98, 99% is just the starting point, right? How do you leverage that information, and how do you help increase the sale of the store and also improve the operational excellence in the store becomes the next step, right? So we've seen retailers get an inventory accuracy of 98, 99%. They've been able to unlock their sale by 3 to 5%, depending on the kind of technology they are putting in. We've seen the conversion ratio of the stores go up, right, by 10%, 12%, right? We've seen operational efficiency for these store colleagues go up by 50%. Now imagine you've become 2x more efficient within your store. Absolutely, you will have more mind space and time, and you will be able to help walk-in customers better, right? You will be able to clientele better. You'll be able to help them find products. You'll be able to even look at give them styling guides and recommendations and cross-sell and upsell, and all of that is what basically helps you unlock the business case, which is increase in sale, increase in the percentage of customers who are getting interaction from store colleagues, which is unlocking your sale again, and how you're able to make your store staff more efficient and unlocking more time for them to interact with customers. Those are the three outcomes that we see with achievement of good inventory accuracy levels within the retail stores.
Thank you. Those are some awesome points. And then I'd also love to dig into some other inventory strategies that help improve sales, both in direct and retail channels. So Karthik, can you share some more around this, please?
Sure, Michelle. As I mentioned earlier, right, customers' buying journey starts as early as product discovery on a third-party search engine like Google, or even social channels like Facebook or Instagram. And several of our customers today, they expose Fluent's inventory availability, especially, right, to Google, and some of them saw the foot traffic increase by 25% by just exposing the local inventory to search engines. And they're also exposing inventory to social media channels like Facebook and Instagram to increase sales. And if you look at social commerce, this is a little interesting, right? It certainly helps your brand reach a wider audience, but not one size fits all. I was talking to one of the retailers recently, and they started with Facebook and Instagram. And that's where they started exposing the inventory, and they were trying to capture sales from there. They thought there was an opportunity there. After a year or so, they found that it was not providing enough ROI. They shut it down. And this all has growth potential, but contractually, you need to meet an accuracy service level, right, SLA, in the 95% range, at least. Or you could get dropped from the program. So setting the right expectations internally to your other stakeholders and the board helps you make a build, take a build, measure, learn approach and make the right decisions without too much pushback from your stakeholders. And then integrating the inventory feed from systems like OMS to your e-com search engine provides a more personalized shopping experience for your customers, where your search results are inventory aware and automatically surfaces items that are in stock, for example. So in a recent Forrester survey, 55% of the respondents said that filtering by estimated delivery date, filtering items by estimated delivery date or pickup date is important. And then 72% of them said they would like to filter products based on their availability. And this can only be achieved by exposing the inventory availability from the OMS directly, which reduces the lag, and also using the OMS as the promising layer so that the retailer can deliver on those promises. And retailers have started sending transaction and demand signals captured by the OMS to the replenishment and the forecasting systems to have a more realistic view of the inventory that needs to be planned, replenished, and allocated. Other inventory strategies to use are having the ability to track days of supply, inventory velocity to adjust inventory levels across your various selling channels. Also, ability to transfer inventory from one store to another based on the demand spikes, and then providing that visibility of the incoming inventory from not one store to another to the demand channels is also very important. I heard one example from our customer, which I thought was very interesting. They had a demand spike, right, for a specific item due to a recent Beyonce concert. I think this happened early this year, where she was wearing a specific type of boots that became a hit with the local fans, right? So whenever the artist performs, those shoes or boots became a hot item, and the stores couldn't keep up with the demand. So then, based on the signals, the demand signals from the store order management system, they were able to detect the demand spike. The inventory planners mostly were able to detect the demand spike and were able to move inventory to the other stores in cities where the subsequent concerts were happening. So an interesting fact of how proactively you can detect the demand spike and replenish the store inventory. By the way, the same goes for the slow-moving items as well. If there's a store which has excess inventory and is running into the risk of being marked down, alerts could be raised by tracking the ongoing inventory velocity. So no matter what, predicting demand can sometimes be difficult, right? So sometimes due to weather or social economic factors in one city or state, but not another. Or sometimes for social media or other predictable demand events, like surprising product demand that followed the concert, what we just talked about, of a massive celebrity. And when you do discover these opportunities, or you need to work around these challenges, have store fulfillment and ability to adjust the fulfillment priorities across these different stores is a great way you can optimize your inventory investment. By doing that, you're leaving the hot product in locations where it is needed, and then moving out the cold products from where it isn't before it needs to be marked down. Those are some of the inventory strategies, what I've heard, and I thought I would share that.
Exposing inventory to search engines really is a game changer. I know I've fallen that into before. I found an item I wanted via Google search, only to have it actually be sold out when I went to purchase it. So would love to move on to the topic of fulfillment, which is equally as important when it comes to delivering on the customer promise and thus providing a superior customer experience. And we know that retailers have been adopting various fulfillment strategies over the years, but Karthik, I'm going to stick with you on this one. What do you think are the factors that are relevant today, and how can retailers optimize their fulfillment to really deliver on those positive customer experiences?
Sure. So, Michelle, if you look at it, customer expectations continue to evolve, right? And they've been, and so ability to have having a flexible fulfillment strategy that considers a number of factors that typically proves to be more effective. Retailers want to provide accurate estimated delivery dates and times in order to capture the demand and increase the conversion rate. This typically starts when the customer views the items in a product listing page, and when limited factors like inventory availability at a network level, not specific store level, at a network level is used. But then if the same customer advances through the buying process and shows more interest in that item, then more factors are considered to provide more delivery options along with more accurate delivery dates and times. Now, when the customer places the order, there is a process of advanced sourcing that evaluates multiple sources in parallel, along with factors like store capacity, store timings, past performance of the fulfillment location, days of supply, shipping and labor costs as well. So the source with the best score is typically selected, right? So you almost evaluate all these sources and all these factors parallelly, and you select the best store. And some platforms also provide visibility into the decision making on why a specific store was selected over the rest, so that folks from within the retailer organization can look at the data and then make tweaks accordingly. Retailers also group the fulfillment locations based on factors like amount of foot traffic, is it an urban or a suburban store, regional DC versus primary DC, a regular versus outlet store, etc., and prioritize these locations accordingly. And one of our customers used the ongoing fulfillment rate and pending capacity of stores to prioritize them so that the stores that are less busy get a higher priority. Retailers have also opportunistically turned off certain stores from exposing inventory to the demand channels in order to protect the store from walk-in customers. So if it's a busy store, you don't want to be taking time away from the existing the associates who are using the time to address the walk-in customers. Then you can turn off those stores during specific seasons of the year, for example. And then offering same-day delivery. This is another technique, right? After deploying same-day delivery, more than 3/4 of the industry leaders, about 75%, 77% confirm an increase in net new sales. And for 31%, this is an increase of between 6% to 10%. Another key element is to provide business users, especially the ones in the stores, with access to the right tools so that they don't depend on the IT organizations to perform tweaks as they go that would continue to optimize the fulfillment. One of our customers, this is an example, one of our customers has to shut down a store due to hurricane, and our system was able to automatically pull the orders or yank the orders from that specific store and reallocate it to other sources, be it a DC or stores, and then communicate that change in date. For example, the new delivery date has changed, and able to communicate that to the customers. Customers are, can empathize on that, right? What they don't want is the retailers not communicating the change when that happens.
Yep, that makes sense. And then you just mentioned profitable fulfillment. So what can retailers do to fulfill orders in a profitable manner?
Yeah, when we talk about profitable fulfillment for this question, let's stick to store fulfillment, right? So COVID, if you look at it, necessitated realignment of how retailers approach leveraging store associates, locations, and inventory. Associates became pickers and shippers. Stores turned into mini fulfillment centers or dark stores, they may call it that. And in-store inventory was increasingly made available online. Retailers offered BOPUS options and ship-to-store options, not to just get the items to the customer faster, but also to increase the probability of the customers buying additional items while they are at the store. One of our customers saw a 15 to 20% uplift in their second basket, which are items bought in the store, when they started offering BOPUS. That's a huge lift, if you ask me. And retailers started fulfilling from stores, primarily to ship items faster to the customer, but then they realized that it is also a great strategy to protect the margin, specifically when the items are ready to go on a clearance or a promotion, right? So over time, retailers have realized that the profitability of fulfilling from store needs to be measured. But again, it's not always a profitable affair, is it? KPIs like time to fulfill, cost to fulfill, order rejections are all great indicators to measure if your stores are performing well from a fulfillment standpoint. And other key metrics are rate of split shipments, cost of shipments, like when I say cost, the shipping cost mostly, then having the right amount of inventory at the right location at the right time, right? And cancellation rate is 2% for one of our customers, but then their store rejection rate is 20%. So what does that mean? That means that a specific store might not have inventory and is rejecting it. That's why you have the store rejections up to 20%. But then that item gets passed on to or bounced to another store, and ultimately it gets fulfilled. And also the same store might not have all the items, and that might result in split shipments. I'll give you an example. A leading sports goods retailer lost 30 million a year because of order cancellation and about 3.5 million just due to split shipments. Their order profile was about 1.38, I would say, items per order, and they still had 14.22, around 14% of orders being split shipped. So you wanted to keep an eye on that and see how you can continue to optimize and keep the cost low. And there's also no one size fits all ability to measure and monitor on an ongoing basis the various fulfillment metrics, and then ability to tweak them proves to be more effective, as I mentioned earlier. This is the era, right, where business users want more control. And they want visibility to the ongoing fulfillment, maybe a dashboard, like a fulfillment control tower, that the business user can monitor and take appropriate action. Then talking about ship from store, the productivity goes down after X number of stores. So for example, an outlet store can do more stores because there's less foot traffic, depending on the season again, compared to an urban store, which will have more traffic. So moving inventory from urban to an outlet store is also, ability to fulfill or use the urban stores more in some cases might be effective, but in some cases, maybe you want to use the outlet stores more. And also, we have customers who move inventory from urban stores to outlet stores to make way for newer assortment. So retailers have also started exposing store availability to same-day delivery vendors like DoorDash and Instacart, so that the delivery team members from Instacart and DoorDash, for example, can come to the store, pick their items themselves with the help of tools like pick-pack optimization map, and then check out the items like a regular BOPIS store. So this immensely reduces labor cost and also proves to be more efficient.
Thank you. And now employee engagement is also an important factor when delivering a great customer experience. So Parya, can you elaborate on what retailers should do to engage their employees more effectively and efficiently, as well as translate that into a better customer experience overall?
Absolutely. I think some excellent insights, Karthik, and adding more to the statistics that you shared. 48% of your store colleagues are kind of complaining that they don't have the adequate tools within the retail stores, right? So imagine almost 50% of your store staff is complaining that they don't have the right information and the right technology so that they can help customers better, right? Another statistics is that 61% of the time is wasted by these store colleagues in less value-added tasks, right? So they're complaining that they could be spending about more than 60% of their time in helping the customers in interacting and actually unlocking sales, but they're wasting that time in low value-added tasks, right? Now, from a customer standpoint, if you pivot the view, about 40% of the customers are complaining that they're frustrated because of the out of stocks, right? It might actually not be an out of stock. You might have the inventory in the back store, right? Or you might have that inventory in the nearby store, but like the customer is not able to get their hands on it, right? So some of these statistics very clearly tell us that we kind of need to not only look at the customer experience, but before that, we need to look at the employee experience, right? Because only a happy employee will be able to translate it into a happy customer, right? The way inventory and orders are two sides of the same coin, employee satisfaction and customer satisfaction are also two sides of the same coin. And it absolutely goes hand in hand, right? How do you now improve the employee experience, right? The first and the foremost is to have them have the right information on their fingertips and have them, give them the right tools and technology so that they can service clients better, right? It becomes absolutely like the table stakes here, right? The second is, your applications need to be user friendly. We're not living in the era of 80s. You cannot expect, non easy to use applications being adopted by store colleagues. They want something as similar to Instagram if you can, right? They want something which is easy to use, which is easy to play around with, right? They should be able to, do everything with it very easily, right? So imagine a single application which has a beautiful interface and you're practically able to self-train yourself, right? You're able to self-empower yourself, learn the store processes, help the customers, walk-in customers, in findability, and in, you know, say reserving a product in nearby store, and basically converting every customer interaction into a sale, right? And at the same time, we're using the same technology to also do the back-end processes, right? Which is also very easy to use in a very easy to use form, right? So a combination of all of that can genuinely help a lot of these store colleagues a lot better, which will absolutely translate it into a better customer experience. We've seen it with, you know, the 200, 250 odd, you know, over technology stores that we have live. We've seen how, you know, having the right inventory accuracy, having the right technology, having, you know, the operational excellence so that, you know, your store colleagues have more mind space to help customers, how all of that together translates into a better, you know, sale for the store.
Thank you. Those are some really great points. Karthik, is there anything that you'd like to add from your perspective?
Yeah, Michelle and Priya, great points. As you said, self-service enablement is the name of the game, right? So putting power in the hands of the business users, whether it's contact center associates, order specialists, store associates, store managers, you wanted to have them use tools instead of them, logging a ticket and having the IT react to it. Ability to adjust store capacity, ability to adjust store hours, or maybe pause a fulfillment for a specific store. These are all tools that business users can have, and this is what they are expecting. This is one of the number one asks from retailers today. Can I put make them more empowered so that they can react to this dynamically changing situations, right? Especially from a customer perspective, can I react to that quickly? And another interesting tool I would mention that retailers have started using is gamification for employees to help them consistently deliver on the customer promises of timeliness and quality. Imagine, right, from a store associate, you log into your station to take care of some pick and pack, and you get cues or which says notes from the application which says, hey, yesterday your location was ranked third in your state, fulfilling X number of orders in X number of hours, but try to get to the top spot today and be entered into the monthly draw from a store team happy hour party. Whatever that motivation is and the incentives you wanted to throw, there is that element of gamification which retailers want to introduce to the store associate, so they continue to motivate them, and that typically translates into great customer experiences.
I love the gamification. I think that's great. So I know we've talked a lot about inventory accuracy, fulfillment today. I have one last question for the both of you. So we did also talk about a lot of pain points, and these could be addressed and solved with the right data in place, which allows businesses to make better and more informed decisions. So lastly, would love to know, data-driven decisions. How can a business ensure that they have better data?
I'll go here first. So look, we live in a world that has the data first mentality, and retailers continue to use a data-driven approach to deliver customer satisfaction without sacrificing on their profitability. So when you think about data-driven fulfillment, ability to track past store performance and feed that into the decision making when selecting a store, ability to track the capacity based on the ongoing fulfillment rate and automatically push the store up or down the priority list accordingly. Ability to track the days of supply for items and determine when they are going on promotion and utilize the inventory from those stores first in order to protect the margin. And then think about a store manager dashboard, right? More operational in nature, but also helps in understanding the health of a specific store, including orders waiting to be fulfilled. And it could be a pickup or a ship from store, in-store versus curbside pickup, how many orders are risk of missing in the SLA, and also have something like a team scorecard. The store managers can have a better understanding of the ongoing fulfillment within the store, right? And they can deliver better business outcomes. We have customers who track the duration of each fulfillment within the store for continuous improvement, be it training or better tools or processes. And then talking about store performance, can you measure which stores are backed up and which ones are canceling more orders? So that you have ability for the store ops folks, especially, to identify the stores which needs more training or better processes to make them more efficient. And the concept of big data and collecting data has been around for a while, right? We know that. But now, with the scale of cloud computing and artificial intelligence, really unlocks a lot of possibilities of what we can do with the data. We talked a lot about product demand already, and also calculating those demand values to the most granular level on a daily or even weekly cadence. It's not something can be done easily by humans. Imagine also if every customer service contact, be it chat or voice, can be scanned, right, and automated and converted into a feedback loop so that fulfillment quality and problems could be addressed. These concepts are now possible, and there are tools which exist. So I would say retailers have to, again, go into a build, measure, learn approach with the recent tech innovations, and see how they can continue to increase that, boost their customer experience overall.
Thank you. Paria, from your end?
Yeah, excellent points, Karthik, there. If I look at, from a store perspective, right, or even from a warehouse perspective, getting the visibility of your inventory information, that's where it starts, right? Analytics, insights, all of that is a follow-up. First, you need to get the visibility of your data, right? And that too in real time. And then you can unlock things like, knowing your inventory levels, knowing how effective your certain layout in the store is, right? And to all the way up to, understanding customer demographics, right? What's working, what's not working, what sort of footfall you're getting, right? So if I were to maybe talk about a few aspects that of data that could help out, the first is, of course, in-store customer behavior analytics, right? How do you understand the heat map of where the customers are spending more time with, which mannequins the customers are standing in front of, right? And it ends up, they end up taking the same product maybe to the fitting room, right? Or where is the traffic in the store getting distributed, and also understanding the demographic around it, right? So that's one way of getting data. The second is with respect to your inventory or your merchandising, right? It could be aspects of what articles are getting tried and what articles are getting bought. It could be what articles are getting interacted with. Now you get all of this information on an e-commerce platform, right? You literally have the funnel view of how your inventory is being viewed, being added to the cart, being left out, and then how it is eventually making it to the payment gateway, right? But in a store environment, you literally don't have that information, right? So you're missing out on a lot of insights. So if you can look at aspects of what customers are interacting with, spending more time in front of in terms of visual display, and what they're taking into the fitting room, and then what is making it to the final leg of post transaction, right? You can learn a lot about your inventory and merchandising insights, right? Another aspect that you could leverage is visual merchandising, right? And ensuring that you have the right compliance, right? Now, imagine your visual merchandising team or your central merchandising team wants to put certain products together. They want to put certain products away from each other, right? There's a lot of intelligence that goes into designing the layout from a visual merchandising standpoint. But are your stores complying to it, right? Are they really keeping the right products together? Are they keeping the right products away? Are they ensuring that the right products are on display, and you have the right product in the right sizes and colors and quantities in the store? Your mediums are selling out in let's say your New York stores, but you're not keeping enough medium on the floor. You're keeping more small and larges on the store. Now those insights, if you can get not only from a particular store but from a network of stores, and you can drive insights from it and leverages as a visual as a merchandiser, you can plan a lot more, and you can centrally control the stores, right? So all of that absolutely helps, and those are just some insights. There's a lot more that you can do with data.
Thank you. So we've covered a lot today. We have just a few minutes left. I'd love to get any final thoughts from both of you. And Karthik, if you could start, please.
Sure. What I will say is, I'll wrap up with saying customers are continuing to evolve, and they're truly looking at a brand to be channel agnostic. And delivering those experiences need to come from systems which are born in the cloud and built on the principles of composability. And if you look at omni-channel strategy, it requires systems that can provide sourcing strategies or optimized sourcing strategies that can evaluate on an ongoing basis multiple factors, including the ones coming from third-party systems. Think about weather or any social economic factors. There's a local strike going on, right, based on which I wanted to reroute the orders to a different store or a city, for example, right? You need to have systems which can continue to evaluate those factors. And then launching and running a store fulfillment needs the ability to constantly measure key APIs, which we mentioned, like cancellation rate, fulfillment cost, and then what is the total past performance of the store. You got to measure all these things to understand the margins, and then make the necessary adjustments, including providing the business users the tools in their hands, like removing stores that are not profitable from a fulfillment perspective from the network, right? Or possibly make them only available for BOPUS, but not ship from stores. If the stores are busy, right, and they cannot fulfill orders on an ongoing basis, then just make them available for BOPUS. And finally, customer experiences span throughout the customer journey from pre to post-purchase. We talked about that. So partnering with vendors that can deliver on those end-to-end experiences is key.
Yeah, spot on, Karthik. Yeah, absolutely. I think spot on, Karthik. Eventually at the end of the day, I know everybody must be tired of hearing this, but at the end of the day, it's literally about customer experience, right? And that customer experience can be driven by providing the right technology to the right people at the right time, right? And how do you stitch all of that together? From a retailer standpoint, I'll also add that it's extremely critical that instead of relying on age-old systems, think of systems, explore systems which are more scalable, right? Which are more modular, right? And are easy to integrate, right? Those three pillars becomes extremely critical when you're picking up a certain technology, because unless you're picking up systems which have all three of those, right? They are, you can start small and then you can add more modules, you can scale more, right? Or you can start with with some aspects of it and then integrate the other aspects of it to and stuff like that. That becomes that is how the retailer should be thinking, so that you can bring in the right technology at your own pace and then evolve from there.
Thank you. So we are just about at time, so that is all we've got for today. So thank you both so much for your insights. Really, really appreciate it. And of course, thank you for everyone who joined us live today. I know we talked about a lot of awesome detailed information today. So just as a reminder, we will send out the recording of this webinar within a couple of days. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye now.